start it and just go.
Just start talking.
Yeah, I can edit this part out.
All right.
I hope so. Please keep it rolling.
We're trying again. All right, take 2. Hey, we're back. We're back. Courtside Idiots episode. This is our 10th episode, guys. I don't know if you realize that. This is exciting times for us.
Big 10 anniversary.
Yeah. Oh, the Big 10. Controversial.
Only took us like 6 months to get there.
Seriously, we started this podcast in like March, and we just got to the 10th episode. That's all right. I know we said it was gonna be weekly, but clearly it's not.
I think we deserve some grace, global
I think we do too.
We started
to sports podcast ever. Yeah.
Worst time possible.
The day before the world ended.
The worst time possible. That's all right though. We're still here. 10th episode. This is all dedicated to the NFL opening weekend. What a time! That's why we're on Wednesday this week. Man, we got to enjoy some great playoff basketball. Game 7 last night. Goodbye, Kawhi. Tough choke. But we also got to witness the beautiful first weekend of the year, which involves 2 Monday night games. How glorious that is. And so we're going to talk about the NFL. So I'm going to start with If I Were a Betting Man. As always, we're doing Super Bowl odds today. So the first one I got for you is the second favorite. Baltimore Ravens plus 450. They absolutely steamed all over the Browns this week. Just how Odell likes it. And I think they did good this year. Foul play.
That's a cheap shot. That's a cheap shot.
Foul play. Sorry. He's the best number 2 receiver in the league. That's all I got to say.
That's a dirty shot.
Dirty.
like poop.
Yeah, you're a piece of crap.
Let's keep going.
Our reviews just went down even more.
Sorry, wait. Sorry, that joke was stinky.
But
all right.
Let's keep going.
So Ravens plus 450. Does anyone like Ravens? Oh, moon it. All right, Lamar Jackson.
Moon it.
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I just don't know. Lamar in the playoffs lately. I don't know.
give him a chance. He's young. Come on.
I think they're elite on both sides of the ball, man. I mean, come on. This might be it.
And they got John Harbaugh, top three coach in the league, right there.
Here we go again.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. John Harbaugh.
Just disrespect my boy Andy Reid again. It's fine.
I'm not disrespecting him. He's a top 10 coach. Just not top 3.
Carroll in that tier, personally.
Yeah, top 5, not top 3. That's all I'm saying.
You put Pete above Andy Reid?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's got more Super Bowls.
He's got more Super Bowls, and it's been pretty consistent.
I think you're overhyping Andy Reid a little bit. You just want Eric Bieniemy to be the next Falcons head coach. That's all.
I'm sorry. First of all, that is 100% true.
Oh yeah.
Secondly, Pete Carroll has what? 1 Super Bowl?
It's 2 at least, right?
1? No, he only got 1.
No, they lost the second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one where
They had a play on the 1-yard line. It was a
No, that's me too. That's me
You know what? I take it back because they gave the Patriots another Super Bowl. Andy Reid's above them.
Thank you.
There we go.
Andy Reid and the Chiefs lost to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game 2 years ago, which allowed the Patriots to get the last Super Bowl.
They did. I love D Ford as well. He's a great
I
player.
hate D Ford.
Because the overtime rules are stupid.
All right, so mixed reviews on the Ravens. Number 2, I got the Saints plus 800. I know they choke in the playoffs. I get it. They do. They've had the worst luck ever. I think all of us enjoyed watching the Minneapolis Miracle a couple years back. Last year, 2 years ago, we had some questionable calls in the NFC Championship game against the Rams, but they've proven they can win before. 12 years ago, they won, and they still have Drew Brees and Sean Payton, and their defense looks great, and they beat up on Tampa Bay. So who's taking the Saints plus 800?
Not me.
Not me.
Anybody? Any takers?
But first of all, before I say anything good about the Saints, rise up, go Falcons. The payout, man, the payout's great.
8 times.
8 times.
I'll put in 10.
You might put in 5 or 10.
And I don't trust them.
I know it's tough. But the payout's great, and I put in $10
in a playoff game. All right, like that's my question.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I like the Saints. All right, but my third one I think you guys are going to really like because it's my personal favorite. Also, a top 3 coach in the NFL right now, Mike Tomlin, and the
Wow.
Pittsburgh Steelers
I can
are plus 1,800.
I can play with that.
Plus 1,800.
I can play with that.
18 times return. Ruby, I'm going to have you go on that Bovada website and put some money down for me.
Oh, he would love to.
I don't know what you're talking about, actually.
Oh, yeah. Hey, all I'm saying
man, I'll
is
take
if
that.
I were a betting man, which I am, I'd be putting down hundo plus bucks on the Pittsburgh Steelers
Mike
plus 1,800.
Tomlin repping the Golden Cross on his attire last night. He's a man of faith. God's on his side.
Pro Mike Tomlin podcast. Very
Pro-
Big time pro Mike Tomlin.
Now they just
Oh
need
my
Tebow in there to really push that over the
Listen,
top.
they look like a Steelers team of old, not only just because they have Big Ben, but the defense is elite and aggressive all game, and I really like what they got going on. So
And Juju
I
is
like
back. Juju's back.
Their receivers
Yeah,
are good.
you're
They
lucky.
make those big plays.
Eric Ebron looks good.
Benny Snell.
Benny
Yeah,
Snell
Daniel,
football.
they just
Snell,
followed
yes,
up on
sir.
Another elite running back. Just
I know. I just.
ridiculous.
I'm
me all
obsessed
the
with their
Steelers
pass
running
rush.
backs.
I'm obsessed with their pass. TJ Watt.
so
I love
good.
TJ Watt. Oh,
TJ
but-
Watt,
oh,
that one interception was crazy. Like I didn't even
So
think
I
that
would-
was Daniel Jones' fault. Like he just
I got a
appeared.
question for you.
He could have easily won
Ryan.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Ask me a question.
Better defensive line for you personally. 49ers or the Steelers?
See, if you asked me last year, I would clearly say the 49ers, but I'm going to say I think the loss of DeForest Buckner and the gain of Javon Kinlaw does not offset itself. And so I'm going to take this year the Steelers defensive line with Cam Hayward, Bud Dupree, and TJ Watt.
Yeah,
Agreed.
That's what I'm going to take this year.
Just curious.
But, I mean, look, 49ers definitely still top 2. Obviously, Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead's still there. Kinlaw's a beast. Like, they have their studs. But I think DeForest Buckner losing an all-pro defensive tackle is enough to put them below Pittsburgh for me until Kinlaw can prove himself. So,
I mean, it's only been one game, to be fair.
it has been. I'm just saying on paper,
Yeah.
that's who I would take.
Agreed.
Yeah, I like that on paper. TJ Watt's young, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. So
Love TJ. Hey, they've got 2 defensive player of the year
Not
candidates on
injury
one
prone
team.
like his brother.
Nope. Hey, JJ wasn't when he won like 3 straight DPOIs. So, animal.
That's good.
Anyway, I'm glad you guys like the Steelers too. Everyone, put all your money, take out all your life savings, all your investment money, put it on the Steelers. Plus 18.
Cannot
I'll
support
be a
that.
honeymoon.
Let's do it. Let's go.
No
It's
risk.
about-
send it.
Hey, it takes money to make money, Ruby. That's what I always tell you. So, all right. So,
Scared money
with
don't make
that,
no money.
scared money make no money. All right.
Folks says-
Biggest takeaway from opening weekend: Jacob Howard, enlighten us.
So, you know what I'm going to go with here? I was massively impressed by the Arizona Cardinals. What a big win to start off the season. A lot of hype around you, and you come out and play really well on Sunday. I really liked it.
They beat the 49ers. I mean, NFC
Yeah, like
favorites.
that's an impressive win. 150 yards from DeAndre Hopkins. I'm just saying they looked very good and they looked impressive and knew what they were doing for
Kyler looked-
preseason games.
So fun too.
They were reminding me that the 49ers need another corner. Cardinals, their offense is too much for a lot of these defenses to handle.
They looked good. And their defense didn't play bad either. So I mean, I don't know. We've been high on the Cardinals a lot in this offseason,
Hey,
and
I've been high on the
they're delivering
Cardinals.
A lot of hype.
Definitely a pro Cardinals podcast.
Pro Cardinals.
That's my
For
takeaway.
sure. Add it to the
my
list.
That's my biggest takeaway.
Hey,
I love
I'm
it.
pro Cardinals as well, but I mean, as a diehard Patriots fan, born in Foxborough, I love to see.
Born in North Carolina, just to clarify. All right.
Hey, born in North Carolina, hopped on the
Foxborough, North Carolina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Hopped on the bandwagon. It's all right. Still support the Patriots because I love seeing Cam do what he does best: run the ball. 15 carries that game. I was watching the game with Ruby and Will, and I was shocked to see a QB be able to scramble when the play breaks down for a first down. I don't know what that looks
definitely-
like.
It was
Hey,
definitely
Tom
weird to see a
Brady's an elite
Patriots
runner.
QB.
Tom Brady's
I
the
don't-
lead runner.
He had a rushing touchdown. though.
He
rushing
did.
touchdown.
First,
He did.
first touchdown of the game. Yeah.
He did, but it was
A
great
lot of
seeing.
money in
It was great
Vegas
seeing
to bet
Cam.
that.
Belichick and McDaniels
Yeah.
have a great mind. The defense is pretty young, besides the secondary, with some players opting out. But Cam's a bright spot, and if he can stay healthy and be able to produce like he has in Carolina when he was in his MVP days. And I feel like the Patriots could, make a little noise with the defense still being strong in the secondary for the most part. So that was a bright spot, for this weekend.
No, I mean, I love how McDaniels and Belichick completely reworked the playbook for Cam. You said 15 carries, like 12 or 13 of them were designed. I mean, it was fun to watch. They didn't have to put up a ton of yardage. They had the least passing yards of any team in the league in week 1, and the Dolphins' strength is their secondary, so they played well. But I know we've talked about it, off recording, but obviously the Dolphins inexperienced. They're the youngest team in the league. So they could take advantage of the first week. But if the Patriots stick to that game plan, I'm interested to see, hey, next Sunday night, they play the Seahawks.
They do.
That'll be interesting to see.
It'll be a tough game.
That'll be good to see. Well, I love it. Patriots and Cardinals both look good. Will Durham, what was your biggest takeaway week 1?
My biggest takeaway is that the NFC East is continuing to be anyone's division. It has for years, and it will be the same. And I think I think the world kind of had a different view on it, though, because I think the Cowboys, there's always a lot of hype around the Cowboys before every year. But
America's
this year, I think they had a big offense and defense. Like, they really looked like a full team. And then kind of went on Sunday Night Football. Of course, Dak and Zeke did look good, but the offense really didn't click that well. The Rams home field advantage. The whole city of LA was there to open the new stadium. Really made it hard for the Cowboys to get that road win, and of course that proved right. And so at times, I know we all can attest that the Cowboys can choke sometimes, but I thought some people would pick the Cowboys for one of their best teams in the NFL, or at least in the NFC, at least to win the NFC East. But of course, you got your Eagles as well, but they allowed 27 unanswered to the first place Washington football team in the NFC East right now.
Not good. Not good.
And so it's just not what you want to see. About the Eagles are always hurt, and they did have 3 offensive starting linemen hurt, and they did have Miles Sanders, their starting running back, not travel with the team, and then they had Boston Scott get hurt, their backup. He's actually doing all right until he got hurt.
Honestly, that sounds like a pretty typical Eagles lineup, though.
Sounds healthy to me.
I said it before, I'll say it again. 14 out of 22 starters. That's a healthy lineup for the Philadelphia Eagles. So they were there.
Chase Young looked good though for a
Hey, stack and a half.
Washington football then.
Eight sacks by the Redskins.
They've got a good pass
Washington
rush.
football team.
I
tell you what,
sorry. They got a good pass rush, man. I like
And Dwayne Haskins, 178 and a tutty, put up again 27 unanswered. And the Giants, for Giants fans, are improving. You can ask Ruby about it. DM him on Instagram and Twitter about it. He'll answer all your questions.
Pass blocking looked good. That's all I'm saying.
And
Much improved.
That's the first time in a while.
And me and Jacob actually had different reactions when we were watching the game. We thought it was a terrible pass rush, but apparently, hey.
No, I said the pass blocking was good, but the run blocking was
Run blocking very bad.
Saquon Barkley had 6 yards rushing. Yes.
To be fair,
Elite
it's
stats right there.
probably one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL.
Again, mooing the Steelers for the Super Bowl. Yeah.
So there's a little. We are playing differently. Our defense actually looked decent, which I was surprised. I thought our defense would be our biggest struggle this season. But we were just flying to the ball. Lorenzo Carter played well. Leonard Williams played well.
Landon Collins, heck of a safety.
How weird was it to see Jason Garrett on the
R.I.P. Landon
sideline?
Collins.
Very weird.
Oh
Very
my
weird.
gosh.
Was that not the weirdest thing?
I know.
So weird.
That one fake jet sweep was pretty good. I was very impressed with that. And it was a good way to get Saquon involved. When every time we tried to get Saquon involved,
He's not a bad play caller. He's just the
hit
most
behind the
vanilla
wall.
person you'll ever meet. That's about the only thing wrong with
It's
Jason
true.
Garrett. He's literally he's straight vanilla, but he can call a good offense. I mean, he did a good job in Dallas with the offense. They just had no mojo to him.
Yeah, when you just have to call plays and not hype anyone up, Jason Garrett's your guy. I mean, he's there for that. So
Hey,
I
but
know
the
the Dallas Cowboys for anybody who doesn't believe that he's complete mayo.
But NFC East wide open as usual, and the Giants are not an easy win now. Not an easy win. Now. So
well,
kind of, but still.
Danny Dimes
No,
will
not an easy win.
early fire breed shot. That's not my fire breed shot. Danny Dimes will lead the Giants to an NFC East championship this year.
Oh man.
Jeez.
Not my actual
The
fire
rest
breed
of
shot,
the
but I'm here for
teams
it.
just-
Oh,
The rest
oof.
of the teams
I
will,
love
like,
Danny Dimes,
win.
but yikes.
Danny Dimes.
Yeah, this is.
Anyway.
Oh, listen, we can be
Okay.
a semi.
All right, Ruby. I apologize, Ruby. Go ahead. What is your biggest takeaway?
That's the nicest thing I've ever heard anybody say about the Giants. I don't know why you're apologizing.
Danny Dimes.
My biggest takeaway is that Joe Burrow just looked awesome. I was so happy to see him play well. He didn't play exceptional, but it was just good to see a lot of what he did in college start to carry over a little bit. And he just seemed like a leader. I was very it just seemed like guys really wanted to play for him. I mean, this team was so bad last year, and the fact that they got kind of screwed out of a call.
They had a chance to win for sure.
And
Rookie
then,
quarterbacks almost never get voted captains, and he got one. So I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I mean,
and then
I mean,
Fat Randy.
bars kind of low in Cincy. I think it was okay. I mean, they played the Chargers though. It wasn't like they played.
The Chargers defense is.
I don't care. Big Appendage Joe was there to play. And also, we cannot talk about him and not address Randy Bullock. I don't know how much you guys have read about this story. Obviously, he missed the 31-yard chip shot that would have sent it in overtime.
Holding his right calf.
He held his right calf, and then after the game, reported that his left calf was hurting him. And so, as funny as that was, obviously he was faking the injury to deal with the fact that he missed a chip shot.
Incredible move.
The Bengals listed him out at practice the following day with both calves hurt since he couldn't decide which one he had hurt. They said Randy Bullock calves did not participate. Hey,
I love just committing. I love just committing to the injury, just full on, just
both calves hurt.
I screwed up so badly, cost us the game. Ow, my arm hurts, but I'm grabbing my leg.
Here's a fun fact for you guys about special teams this week. 19 missed field goals this week.
Oh my! Well, Gostkowski was 1 for 4, so that didn't help that number.
Kickers didn't have any preseason either.
Oh man, bad week.
We saw multiple kickers. We saw multiple kickers get protected in practice squads with the new 4 protections of practice squad players this year. Because everyone knows the kickers were going to get poached with how bad. I mean, it was maybe the worst week of kicking I've ever remembered in the NFL.
That being said, there were a couple of longer kicks that I think one kind of got made, one got attempted. That was a weird thing to see a bunch miss, and then also I think Robbie Gould had a 50+. Matt Prater attempted one that was close, I think. So I mean, there was a couple. There were a couple longer kicks tried, and it was very interesting that they missed as much, and then they hit the longer.
How'd Rodrigo do to Georgia fans out there in the?
He missed his first field goal,
and then he made the rest, and he made his extra points. Not bad.
Hey, you take it.
He was
first one got the yips out.
He was 2 of 3 on field goals and 2 of 2 on extra points. So
yeah,
it's better than a future Hall of Famer,
Stephen Gostkowski.
True.
Well, breaking news.
It's a tough place to kick, though.
Breaking news. My biggest takeaway is not how bad the kicking was in week 1. My biggest takeaway was that the NFC West is dang good. I mean, dang good. The Rams beat one of the 3 highest praised teams in the NFC, in the Dallas Cowboys, and they look good doing it. Their running attack looked like the running attack of old with Gurley. The line looked the best it's looked in 2 years. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, the rookie, made some great plays. Goff, she looked competent for the first time in 2 years. Their defense lost some big names, just extended Jalen Ramsey. Their defense pretty much shut down the Cowboys' offense. Zeke still had a good game, but the Cowboys could only score 17 points against them. So the Rams look great. The Cardinals beat 49ers in a great game. I think we can all agree that game was super fun to watch. The 49ers, just because they lost,
are so good.
Super not out of the picture. And yes, Kyler is so good. The Cardinals offense is fun. The Cardinals defense looks so much improved. Isaiah Simmons and Devondre Campbell, big pickups for them. And so those two teams are both going to be competing this year. And then obviously the Seahawks. I mean, every year you think, you don't know what you're going to get from the Seahawks. Every year you should just expect that they're going to make the playoffs because they do pretty much every year. They beat up on the Falcons, who, again, a lot of people thought might be a playoff team. So all four teams, man, they looked good. I think we all thought there was a good chance the NFC West looked this good, but to have the Cardinals and Rams take a step up from last year and the 49ers and Seahawks remain as competitive as last year, that's going to be a really freaking fun division to watch this year. So I'm excited for the NFC West.
I mean, I would just say that's like a lot of the NFC. There were a lot of NFC teams that really like played well, and I was like very impressed with, like the Packers, all the NFC West teams really. The Cowboys, like, I guess, I think are probably going to win the division, and I think that they played a good-ish game. Like, I think that it definitely, a call or two goes their way. I think it's a different story. So I think that there are a lot of
Mark Rick. Wait a minute, that was the most Mark Rick answer to a loss that I think I've ever heard in my life. Well, if the ball would have bounced a couple ways and got a couple calls here and there, I think we end up winning that game. Mark, you lost to Treon Harris, who threw the ball 3 times for Seahawks. I'm sorry, I couldn't take a shot.
No, go for it. Go for
Florida
it.
State's really awesome at football.
Let's talk about my Jackets, baby.
This is an NFL podcast.
What was that, 1980 something?
I don't know the last time Virginia had a ring, actually, but Georgia got theirs in 1980.
Let's talk about 90 though.
Yeah, well, you guys tied for that championship. I'm not going to count the tie championship.
Though.
All right, we're straying.
Oh, they tied? They tied
with Colorado.
We don't need to talk about
Yes,
that.
they did. They're co-champions with
It's
Colorado.
a shared national championship.
We don't need to talk about that.
I bring it up every time you say 1990 because when was the last time you had an actual standalone national championship?
So
don't brag about being Florida State. That's nothing.
All right, cool. All right. Well, hey, we stormed the field for it last year. That's all I'm saying. All right. We are going to move on. We are going to move on to our second topic, fantasy studs and sleepers. So I want to hear everyone's stud from week 1 and everyone's sleeper who maybe didn't have a great game week 1, but you think is going to have a big season moving forward. So I went last on the last one. I'll get the ball rolling here. My stud, it's biased. It's Clyde Edwards-Helaire, my first round pick in our fantasy league.
Yeah.
He highest amount of carries and rushing yards. Actually, second highest amount of carries. First amount of rushing yards. 25 carries for 138 yards. He had 5 goal line touches. Actually, none of them converted to touchdowns, unfortunately. The offensive line got blown up a little bit. But he's got bad backup running backs around him. Daryl Thompson did not look good out there. And I watched some really interesting analysis from Daniel Jeremiah and Dan Orlovsky about how the Chiefs' passing attack helps out Clyde. There was a play where they handed the ball off to Clyde, and for 10 yards after he had the ball, the safeties were still backing up. They were still moving because they were scared somehow the Chiefs were still going to take a shot downfield, even though he had already had the ball for 10 yards. It's amazing. So he's been going up against 6 in the box. I think Clyde is going to have a massive season. Hopefully he gets some more catches. Unfortunately, we're still a dated league, non-PPR. We're fixing it next year. But he looked great. So he's my fantasy stud of the week. My fantasy sleeper of the week. I'm going someone who I've already given some high praise to this podcast. Give me Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes.
He was rated kind of higher for quarterbacks. I would say he was ranked like QB 13 by most ESPN people or so. But he had 19.4 fantasy points in his first game against, I think, the best defense in the National Football League this year, which is a well above average game, especially for someone going against the Steelers. His O-line looks so much better at pass protection. He's got great weapons with Saquon. He looks awesome out there. He's got sneaky running ability, which is huge for fantasy purposes. He had multiple rushing touchdowns last season. And Pro Football Focus, he was a top 5 quarterback this week with an 82.1 PFF grade. He had a really rough interception in the red zone, no doubt about that. His other interception was not his fault. I think Danny...
Incredible play by TJ.
It was. And I think Danny looks like a baller. I think he looks like he's going to have a huge season. They let him throw the ball 41 times in the first game. Granted, Saquon was struggling on the ground, but I think he's going to have a huge season and would be a good pickup if he's not on anyone's team to be at least a backup quarterback for now, maybe start a quarterback down the line. So, Ruby, who are your studs and sleepers of the week?
I am actually gonna kind of segue from the Danny Dimes pick to my sleeper, who I drafted at the beginning of the season because he played very well at the end of last season. That's Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton had 2 touchdowns and like 100 yards receiving, 102 yards receiving on 6 catches last Monday against the Steelers. I love Darius Slayton. I'm incredibly biased as a Giants fan. He's kind of fit like that role. Like it seems like we always have like the next like kind of breakout receiver. We had Victor Cruz, Odell. Now we got Darius Slayton. I think Darius Slayton can do big things this year. So he's kind of a sleeper. I think I took him like probably 16th round in our fantasy draft. And he's position ranked 4 after week 1. So I love Darius Slayton. I think he's only going to get better. I think that incredibly hard defense, like incredibly good defense to play against. And he, had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. My stud is Devontae Adams. I mean, he played so well. He had, he had 14 catches, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns on 17 targets, 27.6 fantasy points because we're outdated and don't do PPR. And I mean, he's playing with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers just looks like he's like a man on fire this season. I think Jordan Love might have actually been a good draft pick just because it really motivated number 12.
No, I love those picks. Darius Slayton, I mean, torched Joe Hayden pretty much all night. So he had a great game, and you're right, man. Devontae Adams, you might as well make your stud Aaron Rodgers too. I mean, you're right.
That's fair.
You're right. They ticked him off. And you're right.
Double check, baby.
Sneaky good kick. Sneaky good pick. But Jacob Harb, studs and sleepers.
I found it crazy today when I saw on Twitter that Russell Wilson has 0 career MVP votes. I did not know that. And I think he's going to get a couple of those this season. I mean, I know I'm basing that on the first game, but, he had the same amount of incompletions as he had touchdowns. So 31 for 35 is pretty dang good with 4 touchdowns.
He had a perfect passer rating, too, if I'm correct.
Hey, pretty good, but you know who had more touchdowns and incompletions? Gardner Minshew.
Hey, he's also a stud. But hey, Russell Wilson, I mean, that team has a legit shot to be a contender. I think they're going to produce at a high level. I mean, it's important for also the team to have a good defense to advance far in the playoffs. And I think the Seahawks and Russell Wilson can, be a legit team for a contender. And talking about my sleeper, it's Scotty Miller on the Bucs. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's a 5'11"
white boy.
So, I mean, all right, you said that, not me. But, so Scotty Miller, he's going to be one of Tom's favorite targets. Before the season even started, they clicked immediately in training camp. Like a Wes Welker, Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman type of player that we've seen in the past with Brady. So he had 5 receptions for 73 yards, but I think
the common denominator there is.
Hey, I'm just listing out some receivers, But
great wide receiver.
6'1" or shorter.
But yeah, so that's a huge weapon for Brady. I mean, it's an underrated guy that not many people knew before the season. So I think he's a sleeper that we could see make some noise later this year.
Yeah, I like the Scotty pick. He looks good, especially if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are both hurt, which they might be. So that's something. But word. All right, Boy D, who you got?
For my fantasy stud, shouts to my boy Spencer. Josh Jacobs was just an absolute freak. Ran for 93 yards off 25 carries, but had 3 tutties. And he's just like he's the number 1 dude. He's gonna get the ball. He's gonna get 20 plus carries a game. If you have him on your fantasy team, you're set as an RB1. He's number 1 position rating right now for running backs. That's probably might change. But he's going to be in that top 5 during the season. And if you got him on your fantasy team, then I think you're pretty set with a solid running back. He plays New Orleans next week. Tough defense. We'll see if he can produce the same that he did last week. But I think he'll be a continuous stud for the season. My fantasy sleeper, I'm going to shout out a person on this podcast, Ryan Kelly, for picking up Russell Gage. I think he had 9 for 114 against the Seahawks. I think any wide receiver on the Falcons right now is a good bet. I think Russell Gage will catch a lot of touchdowns. Calvin Ridley caught 2 garbage. He had pretty much 2 garbage time touchdowns. I think Russell Gage will definitely step into that spotlight. I think Julio, I love my boy Julio. He just doesn't get the ball that much in the end zone, and Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage are kind of like, they kind of go one-on-one in the end zone. Julio has 2 or 3 guys on him when they get in that red zone area. So Russell Gage could maybe step into a flex play for some guys if he plays right, or maybe there's an injury to Julio or Calvin. So those are my guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Gage keeps it up. He's definitely going to be sneaking into some flex, especially PPR leagues. He had 20.4 PPR points last week. So Jacob Howard, stud and sleeper.
So my stud, I've been thinking about this. I've contemplated a few, but I think I'm going to go with this, and this kind of goes with Will Sleeper. I think your stud's going to be Calvin Ridley, because as a Falcons fan, let me explain this. We're going to be losing a lot. And the Falcons thrive when they're down 20 to air raid the ball. Matt Ryan just pads those stats. And Calvin Ridley feasted last week and got 2 scrap down touchdowns. And I don't think this is going to be the last time that the Falcons are going to be down double-digit scores, going empty set, no huddle, just air raiding it. And I think Calvin Ridley's going to eat on that because Julio's going to always demand a bracket. And I'm just telling you, Calvin Ridley looked very good. Footwork a lot better for this season. So I think he takes off this year. So he's my stud. My sleeper, it's a little more controversial. He didn't have the most impressive game this week, but I think his role's going to expand. And it's going to be J.K. Dobbins. Now, obviously, running back by committee. Kind of a tough deal with Ingram and stuff, and I get that. There's fair concerns, and obviously 7 carries, 22 yards, not the most impressive stat line, but 2 touchdowns. And I think his role's only going to expand. I think he's younger, a little more energized. I think he fits their system really well, and if he ends up being their goal line guy, and the guy's going to get touches in goal line with their creative offense, I just really like what he can do for the rest of the year for the Ravens.
No, absolutely. I mean, and you're right. He had kind of an off game, under 3 yards a carry, but he had 2 touchdowns. So,
and that's his first game in the NFL. So,
yeah, I'm not worried about J.K. Dobbins. I think he's going to have a long time in this league and get some good tutelage under Mark Ingram.
And if you go back to our podcast immediately after the draft, I actually put him as the best fantasy player to come out of the draft. Later on.
Sick, cool, very, very cool. Yeah.
Just saying, awesome. I kind of called it.
Cool.
I mean, I don't think he'll be the
round of applause for Ruby.
I mean, from this class.
Yeah, I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was pretty okay, but you're right.
Yeah, I'm about to say Clyde's a little bit better.
I mean,
Williams is just sitting in his house right now, just what?
Wishing he would get 25 touches a game.
Playoff Damien.
Playoff D. All right. Well, I love Studs and Sleepers. We can make that recurring, honestly. That was a good time. I love your guys' picks. So good luck to everyone week 2. We're excited. We love fantasy football. All right. With that.
That was a cheap shot, by the way, Ruby, from Devontae Adams. That was a cheap shot. Okay. I forgive you.
We're moving into the third and final topic. If you remember a couple episodes ago, after the NFL schedule got released, we did playoff predictions. So I'm going to read you off the teams we had, and then we're going to see if we want to change any of those, because we definitely do, because we made some mistakes, because we're not perfect. AFC, originally, we had the Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs. I think we are confident about those. We also had the Steelers. Feel good about those 4. The other 3 we had were the Colts, the Browns, and the Broncos.
How could we think that way?
As much as I still think the Broncos can make the playoffs, the Colts and Browns are jarringly awful picks.
Now,
so
wait a minute.
And actually, I'm going to say wait a minute, because I fought hard on that podcast for the Titans to get the AFC South spot instead of the Colts. And I was overruled by a vote of 4-1. But I still believe that the Tennessee Titans will win the AFC South. So we'll get back to that.
We'll
get back to that.
fair.
And then before we dive into it, I'll go into the NFC too.
1 week.
For the NFC, we had the Packers, Saints, Seahawks, 49ers. Feel good about all those. Also at the Cowboys, still feel pretty good about that. And then we had the Bucks and the Eagles, who definitely could still make the playoffs. The NFC's kind of wide
I
open.
say, me and Will were advocates for the Cardinals to get in. Just saying.
That's what I've been saying.
Jacob was too. I'm kind of confused how the Cardinals didn't get in our initial rankings.
I wasn't very against the Cardinals.
Actually, Jacob Howard, I listened to it today. You voted for the Eagles to get the last playoff spot. That's why it won 3-2.
Ruby convinced me of his argument. I got listen. He said if they don't get injured, they make the playoffs. That just made perfect sense to me.
Hey, it's all right. You know what?
Yeah, but the Eagles always get injured.
It does make sense. If they don't get injured, they make the playoffs.
Literally every team in the NFL can say that. Well, we don't know injuries. We'll get into the playoffs.
Hey,
the John Madden observation.
Today's about fixing previous mistakes. So we're going to start with the AFC. I've already said that I want to replace the Colts with the Titans in our book.
Agreed.
Does someone else have a change they would like to make?
Well, we gotta take the Browns. We gotta take the Browns.
The Colts and Browns need to be gone.
The Browns.
I think the Titans kind of have to replace because the Texans.
I disagree. Colts.
Why?
Colts need to stay. Get the Browns out and get the Broncos out. That's my two.
The Colts lost to the Jaguars.
Listen, it was Phillips' first game. They would have won that game. Phillips made some ugly turnovers. It's his first game in a different team.
Let me look at the standings.
It's like Tom Brady too.
It's the start of his third straight year of being awful.
What about Tom Brady here? Like, I'm just saying, Tom Brady looked bad. Saints, Jaguars,
Brady's the GOAT.
Competition.
We're not talking about the NFC yet, but
I mean, look, the Colts lost to a bad Jaguars team. Marlon Mack just went down for the year. I have little faith in the Colts.
We got the Patriots in as the wild card. Look at these. Look at the AFC.
I think.
How about? Can I pitch a team?
Sure.
What about the Las Vegas Raiders?
Oh my god.
Next.
They beat the they played the Panthers. It doesn't count.
Panthers put 30 on them.
Panthers are bottom 3 in the NFL.
They didn't look good on defense.
No, I meant on offense. Sorry.
They scored 34 on the Panthers. Awful. The Panthers lost Luke Kuechly, Bradbury,
starter on the Panthers. Name me one starter on the Panthers defense.
Shaq Thompson.
Yeah.
Derek Brown, Brian Burns. I mean, I got some for you.
Matt Rule.
I didn't ask you. I knew you would know.
He said Matt Rule.
Saying,
all right.
It is different ballgames. I'm with you though. I do not think the Raiders, but I'm with Jacob Harb. I think the Patriots replacing the Browns would be a very logical decision right now.
Yes.
Also, to be fair to us,
I'll third that.
To be fair to us at that time, I don't believe Cam was the quarterback, and I think it was.
No, he was not.
No, he wasn't.
Jared Stidham was the quarterback.
Stidham couldn't even make the team.
That was not on the team.
Active roster. He's
terrible. Wait, did they cut Stidham? I didn't see that.
No, he's our.
If the record,
Hoyer beat him out.
Harb was defending Stidham, if I remember correctly.
I defended him until we got a former MVP to replace him.
True.
Hopefully he doesn't fumble it because he won't dive after it.
Hey-o, Super Bowl jokes.
Hey,
my team blew 20.
I hope he does. If not, Brian Hoyer comes in the game.
All right.
Yeah. All right. I think Patriots replacing Browns is easy. All right, we need to vote on Titans Colts because I'm firmly in the stance that the Titans are going to win.
Phillip Rivers with his back against the wall any day of the week.
All right, what about you other three? Where are you going?
Phillip Rivers, 2 minutes left, interception. Let's go Titans.
Let's go Titans.
Titans.
Yeah.
Titans. 4-1 Titans. 4-1 Titans.
Hey! I remember a man was 4-1, and now he looks right. We'll be sitting here again midway through the season. I'll be right here when you guys are ready to jump back on.
If the Colts,
I like that.
If the Colts is the stance that you want to die on, be my guest. Feel free to die.
I will. Phillip and all 11 kids, baby. We're there.
All right, are we trying to replace the Broncos with anyone? Because the AFC does not look deep. I don't know.
I feel like we could probably keep.
I like the Broncos.
Keep them for now.
Broncos lost a tight game.
Replace them with the Colts.
Shut up. No, Broncos.
What? Dude, Locke looked awful. Are we really gonna say that
Locke-
he's gonna lead him to the playoffs?
Hey, Locke made some mistakes. He had some deep.
You guys are sucking up on Locke. I don't think he's that good. I've been saying it since the offseason. He's not that good.
I think
I'd agree with
Raps a couple
that.
songs on the sideline.
I agree, but I think
Ron Butler, they're not that bad.
I think the team around him. Hey, I'm saying I think the team around him is better than the Colts. I like the Colts defense. I do, but they
No
gave up
Von Miller,
27
though.
points to the Jaguars. They gave 27 points to Jaguars.
Darn. Minshew's not a bad player. He's a very
The Jaguars were literally cutting and trading their players away to try to tank.
Minshew mania.
And obviously,
Is Gardner
Leonard
Minshew
looked
better than
awful, so
Baker
obviously They knew
Mayfield?
what they were doing.
Got rid of Leonard, but they traded away
Right
AJ
now.
Bouye. They traded away
Right.
Jalen Ramsey last
Right.
year. They traded away Calais Campbell.
Better than Baker.
I mean,
I just wanted to ask.
He's better than Baker. Yeah, dude. Look how good he looked with no talent. Baker has freaking Jarvis Landry, Kareem Hunt, Odell Beckham,
Chubb.
They
Austin
played against,
Hooper,
they played against some different
Big
defense.
Chubb.
He did. He did play against. That's my point.
That's fair.
The Colts suck. Broncos. Give me that 7 seed. All right. Well, you got our AFC figured out. The NFC. Again, I feel good about Packers, Saints, Seahawks.
Let's put the Falcons in there, baby.
Get out of
Put the
here.
Falcons in there.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm pulling the Bucks and Eagles out personally, and I'm putting in the Rams and Cardinals. Give them to me.
Dude.
I'll put the Cardinals in. I'm not
I'm
sure
good.
about the Rams.
And are we really ready to give up on the Bucks? Well, actually, I've been on the Bucks not making the playoffs from the beginning. Yeah, get them out of here. I've been saying that from the top.
You guys are way too
Third
quick to
place
get
in
rid
the
of the
division.
Bucks.
We also talked about the Vikings, and the Vikings didn't look good. Now, hey, a team that I personally said was going to win the NFC North, which was a bad take because Packers are definitely going to win the NFC North, is the Chicago Bears.
I love it.
A bad take.
With a victory in Game 1. They're 1-0, baby.
Mitch,
And they should have lost. Come on,
advanced
man.
analytics show that Mitchell Trubisky was the best quarterback in the past 5 years in the fourth quarter.
Hey,
Listen.
he can throw it at both sides of the field now.
Also, can I just point out that Mitchell Trubisky was a Pro Bowl quarterback?
He was.
He's made a Pro Bowl.
That's like a second year. He was like the third replacement. He
That's
was-
laughable.
was like the
That's laughable.
sixth
Dude.
best quarterback in the NFC that year.
I'm sorry, but he made a Pro Bowl. Like, are we? That still blows my mind. Anyway, no, not.
And he's gonna do it again this
Stop
year.
it.
Take the
Stop.
Bears.
Stop.
All right, so
Defeat,
No Bears.
I say we shouldn't give up on the Bucks just yet, and I say we put the Cardinals in.
No.
I say we're
I
doing.
agree.
Donald, they look
I
great.
say we're doing preseason rankings or postseason rankings after week 1. This is the time to overreact.
Exactly.
The Bucks suck.
No
the Bucks,
way.
the Bucks are the worst team in the NFL based on week 1.
Yep.
No,
Saints.
True.
I'm with Will. I hear you. If you want to keep the Bucks in, put the Cardinals in for the Eagles. I mean, people feel good about that. Anyone
Yeah.
strongly opposed?
I like that.
All right, hey, we got our new playoff team. So
Wait, time out. We putting the Falcons in there?
no, man, no, they're not in there.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Hey, Howard.
They're 1 year away.
We'll revisit
And,
it.
like,
We'll revisit it.
If we do this,
and like a defense.
if we do this again after week 4 when Dan Quinn's fired, I'll put the Falcons in.
Hey, man, you know what?
He last the season.
I'll save it. I'll save it.
Oh,
I'll
there's
save it.
no chance he lasts the season.
It depends. Are they going to have a first half like they had last year? Because if so, he'll be gone by week 4, like I just said.
All right, I'm saving my pick. I'm saving that.
All right.
That's my hot take. So
All right, hey, NFC, we got the Cowboys, Packers, Saints, Seahawks, Niners. We've got the Cardinals, and we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like that. That's fine. Hey, overreactions. It's what week 1's about. All right, I want everyone's Super Bowl picks. So, Ruby, why don't you get us started? Who's your Super Bowl pick? Who over him?
Well, I know that the Boy D is going to kind of agree with me on this one. We talked about it on Sunday. I really like the Seahawks, and I have no real reason like to root for them, but like I just like them as a team. I think Russell Wilson is so ridiculously talented at quarterback. It's just not funny. The run game looks better than it did last year, and it looked pretty good last year. Their defense got better with Jamal Adams. I think that, they just look good, and I just am excited to watch them. I think that they probably go against the Chiefs. And I think that, they're at that point, I feel like it's a coin flip, but I'll just take the Seahawks. But yeah,
Hey, Russ versus Patty Mahomes would be a beautiful, beautiful Super Bowl.
that'd be everything.
That'd be beautiful. All right, Boy D, are you gonna go with Seahawks too?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Seahawks NFC. I'm gonna go Ravens AFC. And I love the Seahawks. Don't get me wrong. They absolutely killed my Falcons, which isn't that big of a, goal or big of a woohoo. We beat the Falcons. But I'm going to go the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. I just think they have a pretty complete team. And Google understands with me that the Ravens are. I just like the Ravens. Yeah, sorry. I know. But I think they're a complete team. If Lamar does the 3/4 of what he did last year, and keeps throwing the ball to Mark Andrews in the goal line, tell my fantasy team, I think they're going to go a long way. I think they're going to come out with a Super Bowl win. So I'll go Ravens.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to go Ravens too. I think the biggest thing with Lamar is he's got a little New Orleans Saints in him. Tends to disappear when he's in the playoffs. I think he flips that around this year. Their defense is even more loaded than last year. Picking up Calais Campbell was huge. Earl Thomas, not that big of a loss because he hasn't really been as good since he left the Seahawks. And I'm going to take the Ravens over the Green Bay Packers. This might be a week one overreaction. It is entirely possible. But Aaron Rodgers looks like that dude that won a Super Bowl a decade ago. I mean, he looks unbelievable. The Vikings are not a bad team that they just crapped all over this week. They looked seriously unstoppable to the point where I think they would hang 35 on the Steelers. So I really like the Packers this year. I'm still going to take the Ravens. Action Jackson versus Aaron Rodgers, maybe the only quarterback duo that could outduel Russell Patty. So I'm taking Ravens over the Packers. But Jay Howe, what you got?
I'm going to go with, since it's a weird year, no fans, I'm going to go with some off picks here because I think it's this type of year we're in. I mean, NBA playoffs alone is a testament to that. Go Heat. Anyway,
let's go.
Go Heat.
My NFC pick is the Los Angeles Rams.
Ooh.
They looked like the team that went to the Super Bowl a couple years back. I was like, oh yeah, this team was really good a couple years back. I forgot about that. They looked good, and that Dallas Cowboy team is not bad, and they looked elite versus them for sure. And Aaron Donald, and obviously they have countless weapons on the team. And Sean McVay is a very underrated coach and offensive mind, obviously. Who they go up against is actually our betting man pick is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I like it.
I think they figured it out. I think it's a weird year. I just think the AFC is just such a crapshoot with so many talented teams on the top, very top heavy talent wise. And I could just totally see the Steelers being tough and with that brand of defense, very, very Iron Curtain-like, very Steelers culture-like, defensive led. I can just totally see Big Ben and the boys getting one last one. But I think the Rams will win. I think Jared Goff will play a little better than he played versus the Patriots. So,
man,
yeah. That's a good one. Rams are fun.
Wow, I did not think I'd be the only person to pick with the Golden State Warriors / the Chiefs to go back to back. I mean,
this is so hard to repeat.
It is so hard, but I don't think anyone can hang with the Chiefs offense. I just think they're going to be able to outscore anybody they play, and it's just I'm just really in love with the Chiefs offense and Andy Reid, like Jacob Howard. Loving the team all the way through.
Yes, sir.
I know it's super hard to go back to back, but if someone's able to do it, I think it's Patty Mahomes. So I really like the Chiefs. And it was hard for me to pick them over the Steelers. Hard for me to pick them over the Steelers because I really do like that Steelers pick, Howard. I'm not going to lie. But I also like seeing them play the Seahawks in the Super Bowl because Russell Wilson just had a different look on his face, it seemed like, in week one for how he was playing. So if he's able to keep that up, I think that's
playing a tissue paper defense here. Come on.
Hey, he looks great.
We can put up 300 yards on that.
He looks great. But I'm going with the Chiefs. That's my Super Bowl pick.
That's a good. I mean, Hey,
I mean, it's hard not to go with them.
Very, very original.
Hey,
although it's so hard to repeat, man. It's so hard to repeat.
It is, but no one can hang with them.
Well, Anywho, so is that everyone gave their picks, right? That's is that everybody?
I know that
Everyone did give their picks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
everyone
Ruby?
did?
Yeah, you
So,
did.
all right.
Yeah.
Everyone did. But I guess we
so-
gotta transition into
Moving
our
on.
fire free shot.
We're the hosts now.
Fire,
We've kicked off Ryan.
Breed,
Finally.
Ryan
shots.
We're free without Raquel. We're ready to
The
rock and roll.
Dolphins suck.
Let's-
The real show starts now.
We have been forced to be a pro Dolphins. But anyway, let's do the super hot shots or whatever that's
Fire
that's
breed
called this
shot.
thing.
Lead it off, Howard. Lead
Sorry,
it off.
Sorry.
We want yours.
Let's go,
Lead it
Howard.
off.
Let's go.
We want yours.
I am calling right now. Leading the Falcons out of the tunnel next year, next season, will be Joe Brady. Young, offensive mind. It's a copycat league. That's the sexy hire nowadays. Example, Sean McVay, Cliff Kingsbury. So I think a year in Carolina, which he's already shown that he's overperforming with a booty Carolina offense. And granted, McCaffrey's very good, but I think he overachieves there. We hire him, head coach in the Atlanta Falcons this year. Matt Ryan, it's a sexy pick. That's my super hot shot take. Yes.
Wow.
Boom.
I like
Ruby,
that
what's yours?
take. It's a good take.
My
don't mind
take
that.
is that the college football playoffs have the first 2-loss team in this year. I think with it being so weird, I think with the fact that the Big Ten just announced they're coming back, I feel like things are just so random and so weird. I think that what ends up happening is that a team loses a game that they really shouldn't, and then maybe loses a game that they is close, and I think that they kind of sneak their way in over a team maybe like App State, who is projected to play really well this season, but then just is still not a Power 5, and I think that the committee is just gonna pick Power 5 over even a good team that isn't.
Yes. All right.
I like it.
All right.
I like it.
Jason.
Okay, go Jay. Go Jay.
No, you got it.
Well, mine. I was gonna go next because mine is kind of related to Ruby.
There we go.
Because my fire breed shot is that Appalachian State will make the college football playoff this year.
Oh my gosh. Get out of here.
Here's the thing. I know.
It's a fire breed
Sunbelt,
shot.
I know. It's a fire breed
App
shot.
State.
Now here's the thing. Is that App State is such a good football team, led by senior quarterback Zach Thomas, who threw for 204 and a touchdown, as well as a 51-yard bomb.
Yeah, so he's got experience.
He's got
faster.
He's got lead wide receiver Thomas Hennigan, who has been there for a while, also a senior. They're experienced. Now, here's the only thing. They don't play a good schedule. Of course, we all know the College Football Committee looks at strength of schedule. I mean, the toughest matchup they'll have, they go on the road this Saturday at Marshall, which is a tough test if anyone knows how good Marshall is as a football team. They face the Raging Cajuns, a ranked Louisiana football team, at home, and then they also go to Howard's Village of Statesboro, Georgia, and play at Georgia Southern.
And may we point out, back-to-back years, they have gotten blown out by Southern, handled back-to-back times. Just continue what you're saying.
It doesn't
Southern
happen.
almost
And I think that stops here. They also have to go. The Sun Belt, by the way, had a really great weekend. Louisiana State, Arkansas State, big upsets. They got to go Arkansas State at home. Coastal Carolina had an upset at Kansas. They got to go at. If they get through those guys, because they just upset all those big schools. If they get through all that, they go win the Sun Belt Conference. I think they're good. I think if they go undefeated, they're in the college football playoff, and you can't deny it. And I think they're gonna beat Georgia Southern terribly.
They ain't gonna beat us, brother. They ain't gonna beat. We have their number.
Crazy.
All right,
You're
that's
crazy.
just that's a bad take.
I mean, almost.
Come on, it's a hot
losing to
take.
Gamble was also not great.
With 33 players out, yeah, it's kind of hard when our whole DBs are true freshmen. All right, just move on. Hard.
You know, Kennesaw State kills
Here's
Campbell
what we're
every
gonna
year,
do.
right?
This is a quick take. So Baker Mayfield has 6 commercials at right? 6 commercials. A lot of people, not all of us, have so some people have the Browns making the playoffs. I know we did initially. Some people still do, just based off the talent on their team. So Baker has those 6 commercials. And I do not think that the Browns will reach more wins than Baker has TV commercials. Okay.
They get 5 wins. Is that what you're
Now,
saying?
I'm saying that they get 5. I'm saying they go 5-11 this year. That should be technically a pretty hot take, because a lot of people have them getting into the playoffs having a winning record.
Yeah,
But,
what's their adjusted?
They do not go over Baker's commercials. So at the end of the season, Baker will have more commercials than the Browns have wins.
Ah, man.
I like that hot take.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Everyone's hot
But
take.
it's
It's
a week
everyone's
1.
hot take. I also just want to see if maybe Ryan is here, because it looks like he might be. But
Hey, I'm here, man. I'm
He
here.
is.
Hey, Ryan.
Well, Raquel, why don't you
That was
give
the best
us
5 minutes of the
last
podcast, but
we weren't
fire breed shot?
Hey, all right.
Wait, Adrian, can I ask you something?
Feel free.
App State going defeated. Do you think they make the playoffs?
Not just a no, but a heck no for me. Also, they're not.
Come on.
They're also not going to go undefeated based on their performance last week, where they almost lost to Charlotte. So.
Georgia
Hey.
Southern Eagles.
It was just one week.
Yeah, your Eagles barely beat Campbell, so let's chill on that one.
With 33
Thank you.
players out. That's like
They're an
Thank you. Thank you.
We had a true freshman starting.
Kennesaw State kills Campbell every year.
Campbell's not good. There's no defense that stops. I don't care if you're missing your entire team.
33 players are out. Like, that has to mean something.
You should be able to beat
Ryan.
them with 16 healthy players. But anyway, my fire breed shot is related to my playoff picks and also to my biggest takeaway from the weekend. The NFC West will become the first division in NFL history to have every single team in the division make the playoffs. Now, granted, this was not possible till this season when we have the 3rd wildcard spot, but it will become the first division in history to have every single team make it in the same season.
I'm not gonna lie.
Is that really a hot take? That's kind of just like, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of liked your other hot take about Danny Dimes, but
Hey, that one was a not so fire breed shot. But this one, I will stand on a mountain for. And I hear what you're saying, but also like to think that like they all have to play each other twice a year and all 4 of them still have good enough records to qualify in the NFC
fair enough.
would be amazing. But that's what I think is going to happen. I think they're all just going to go like 1-1 against each other. They're all just going to split them up, dominate the rest of the league, and we're going to have 4 NFC West teams in the playoffs out of the 7 NFC. Like the teams I liked otherwise, like the Vikings, the Eagles, just like even the Bucks. Like the Bucks, I think could still do it, but like, the Vikings and Eagles disappointed big time week 1, and the Bucks were playing the Saints, and it was Brady's first game, but they didn't look great. And I really like NFC West.
I feel like you could really say the same thing about the Vikings. I think the Vikings also went up against a tough opponent, but it wasn't
all I know is that 16 teams play Patty Mahomes every year, and they don't give up 45 points. So
fair enough.
I think they just got absolutely rocked.
Good stuff. This is good. This is good.
This is a great
Also, if we wanted to mention just like one like betting pick you could make, I really like the Vikings this week. They're +9, I think, or something.
No way.
Crazy.
Against the Colts?
Yeah, it's something crazy. I have it right here. Or no, sorry.
That boy on Bovada.
No. Sorry. It was the Panthers.
A lot of open bets.
Who are the Panthers playing, and what's
They're
the line?
playing Tampa, and it's 9. Yeah, it's +9.
Yeah, I'm a hammer Tampa -9.
Ryan, did you hear my hot take?
No. What was yours, sweetie?
I said. Thanks, Dad. I said that Joe Brady will be his be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons next season.
That is woefully optimistic. Also, I don't think he will be. I know you really love Joe Brady. I don't think you.
Well, who doesn't love Joe Brady?
I hear you, but
who goes like that?
You don't go from offensive coordinator in college football to NFL head coach in 2 seasons as good as he is.
You don't go from winning 500 games at Texas Tech to being the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Just saying.
I mean,
just saying.
I hear you. Head coach to head coach is one thing. Offensive coordinator to head coach is a different beast. Also, Carolina,
How old was Sean McVay? How old was Sean McVay when they hired him?
they're like 35, but Carolina's going to be 2-14 this year. That's not really going to jump off the page. Let me go hire their OC.
He's gonna overperform.
They lost to the
Arkansas.
Raiders.
He put up 30 points. That ain't his fault.
I don't think it's overperforming with them. They have a $20 million a year quarterback. They've got the best running back in the league. They've got
This is an off
C-Mac.
debate.
DJ,
Yeah.
Robbie. They've got like their problem is not their offense. Their problem is that they couldn't stop a high school offense. That's their problem.
Oh man.
You
Yeah, let's
asked me.
roast them.
You asked me an hour ago. Well, actually, you asked Ruby, but I answered. If you could name defensive
You
starters,
answered.
and just because I can doesn't mean other people could. All I'm saying,
Hey, listen.
I don't buy the Panthers D. I don't buy them.
I don't know a single player in their defense.
And so therefore,
Besides
they're going to go
Luke
like
Kuechly,
2
and
and
he has
14.
CTE.
Luke Kuechly retired,
When he
bro.
has a
I know.
Luke Kuechly
I know.
retired.
When he has
I know.
It's a top 10 offense. Just saying. That's why it's a super hot take. I'm just gonna say it's optimistic. I know. I'm just telling you. I think Joe Brady would be a good hire. Take it as he wants. A copycat league, young offensive mind. That's the hire nowadays.
Hey,
It's true.
you can have hopes and hot takes. Sure, like
Screw you guys. All right,
Great
let's go.
podcast,
All right,
though.
that was good.
All right.
I think
What a great
we're done for the week.
podcast.
We'll see you guys in like 2 weeks, probably.
Kumbaya.
Tyler Hero, Finals MVP.
Why sucks? Boo Clippers.
Kumbaya.
Let's go Heat.
Kumbaya.
Hey, Celtics, I'm going to go against all y'all.